Let's talk about AI projects. We hear all the hype, but the reality is a ton of them fail. And we're talking about millions, even billions of dollars down the drain. But here's the twist, it's usually not the technology's fault. It's about asking the wrong questions, or no questions at all, right at the start. Today, we're going to unpack a framework that helps you ask the right ones. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. The real problem isn't happening in the code, it's happening in the conference room. It's the decisions you make before a single developer starts typing that will make or break your project. To really get a feel for the stakes here, I want you to imagine a scenario. It's a little dramatic, but trust me, it's a scene that plays out in companies all the time. Imagine that feeling, the cold sweat. You get a call at 2 in the morning. Your brand new, super expensive AI system isn't just failing, it's actively costing you money, blocking perfectly good customers. Just one night of this costs you 50,000 euros. And that's not even counting the months of work and resources you've already sunk into it. It is a full-blown nightmare. And that 2 a.m. nightmare? It is not an outlier. A shocking 80% of AI projects fail to deliver what they promised. This isn't just some scary number, it's a massive warning sign that the way most people approach AI is fundamentally broken.
So what is going on here? Why does this keep happening? Well, it usually comes down to one core critical mistake.
And this is the question you have to ask yourself, honestly. So many projects begin with the technology. Hey, let's use some cool AI, instead of starting with a real, painful business problem. This is how you end up with vague goals and building something way, way too complicated for what you actually need. You know, a huge reason for failure is picking the wrong tool for the job. Look at this table. It breaks down AI into different levels of complexity. Think of it like this. You wouldn't use a sledgehammer to hang a picture frame, right? But in the world of AI, companies are constantly reaching for level 4 deep learning when a super simple level 0 set of rules would have worked just fine. And this comparison makes it so clear. Look at this. A simple rule-based system, a level 0 solution, solves 85% of the cases. It costs maybe 20 grand and takes 2 weeks. The super complex deep learning model, it gets you to 92%. A little better, sure, but it costs a fortune and takes half a year to build. You have to ask, is that extra 7% of performance really worth all that time and money? For most businesses, the answer is a hard no. Okay, so how do we avoid falling into these traps? How do we stop building solutions that are just looking for a problem? Well, there's a really powerful 3-part framework you can use to vet any idea before you write a single check. This is it, the 3D assessment framework. And the concept is simple. Every single idea has to pass through 3 filters. Is it desirable? Is it feasible? And is it viable? And here's the crucial rule. If your idea fails on even one of these, it's a full stop. You don't pass go, you don't collect $200. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. We're going to dive into what these filters actually mean and the tough, honest questions you need to be asking. First up is desirability, and this is all about the why. Is this problem actually worth solving for the business? If you have a vague problem statement, no way to measure success, or no one in the business who actually cares about the outcome, you don't have a project. You have a science experiment. And science experiments don't usually get funded. Now for the second filter, feasibility. And this quote is everything. This is what we call the data reality check. Teams get so excited talking about the data they could get, but that's a fantasy. The only question that matters is, what clean, usable, labeled data do you have in your hands right now? And that reality check leads us straight to these giant red flags. If the data literally doesn't exist yet, if it's a total mess, or if there are major privacy or compliance blockers, then your project is just not feasible. It's dead in the water before it even starts, no matter how cool the idea is. And finally, we get to viability. This is the money question. Can this thing actually make financial sense? And here's the hard line in the sand. The project has to pay for itself in less than 18 months. If the payback period is longer than that, you have to ask some really tough questions about whether it's a good investment. So a payback period of over 2 years is a huge red flag, but so is a negative ROI. Or, and this is a big one, no budget for ongoing operations. An AI model isn't something you just build and forget. It's like a car. It needs fuel, maintenance, and a skilled driver to keep it running. Without that operational budget, it's going to break down. Okay, so what if you've run your idea through the filters and things are a little fuzzy? Maybe it has potential, but there's still some big unknowns. You don't have to just roll the dice. There's a smarter way to play this. Let's put it this way.
Say you have a potentially game-changing AI idea, but it's a €5 million bet. How on earth do you figure out if it's a good bet without just throwing all that money at it and hoping for the best?
Here's how. You spend a tiny fraction of that, say €50,000, on a small, focused proof of concept. And here's the key mindset shift. A POC is not a mini version of the final product. Think of it as a risk reduction shield. It's a targeted experiment designed to answer your biggest, scariest questions before you commit the big bucks. And a good POC is fast and structured. 4 weeks tops. Week 1, you just assess the data. Weeks 2 and 3, you build a simple baseline model and then a quick machine learning model to see what's possible. And week 4, the most critical part, is the decision gate. Based on what you learned, do you move forward, change your approach, or kill the project? Now, for bigger companies, there's one final layer of defense. It's called an AI architecture gate. And look, I know this sounds like boring corporate bureaucracy, but it's not. You have to think of this as a success enabler. It's a final sanity check by experts to make sure that only the smartest, safest, and most valuable projects get the company's money. So, let's pull this all together into a final go/no-go checklist. Before you build anything, you need a confident yes for every single one of these. Is the problem real and worth solving? That's desirability. Do you have the clean data you need? That's feasibility. And is the payback under 18 months? That's viability. If even one of these is a no, you stop. It's that simple. And that really brings us to the final, most important takeaway. The goal should never be to just build AI. Anyone can do that. The real goal, the sign of a smart organization, is having the wisdom and the discipline to know which problems you should be solving with AI in the first place. The question isn't, can we build it? It's, should we?